Hello and welcome to the Foresight Scrolls Channel. This is a channel that takes a look at asset symbols such as stocks, indices, cryptos, commodities with the Foresight Suite of indicators. So we look at those things, we see what the indicators are saying about those things, and hopefully get you interested in the indicators themselves and ultimately to get you to take a look at them. And if not, then perhaps you just find some great trades along the way based on the things we're seeing. Each day we take a look at the S&P 500 just as a general metric of the markets here in the States. We take a look at Bitcoin every day because it's the granddaddy of crypto, and then we mix up the commodities and stocks and other cryptos we look at. So today we're going to look at the S&P 500 first. If you've been following along, you will have known that the S&P 500, ever since the Liberation Day sell-offs back in March, this huge sell-off event we had right here. Let's flip over to what we normally look at things as the Heiken SG candles. They really clean things up for us. Most of the other times you'll notice that we don't have our candles set to the traditional red and green, but just for the S&P, we keep them this way for no particular reason other than the chart's been set this way for quite a while, to be honest. So we see back in March, back here we got a premonition. If you're unfamiliar with the suite, this is basically this is the foundation of the suite, or these two indicators, the Foresight indicator and the Mystic Spell indicator. And so our signals are this: we get a premonition here, and after we get our premonition, we wait for our Mystic Spell to give us a long spell signal. So this gives us the premonition and then the long spell. The combination of these two things are our indication to long. And as you can see here, it was a great trigger. And we have a new update to the Mystic Spell that's not live yet, which actually uses these signals in real time together. These are completely separate as you're seeing them here. This indicator is running separate from the Mystic Spell, so we're watching this manually. It's not automated, but the new version, the update that's going to be out soon, is automated. So you can see here we've been in this up channel for months and months now, months and months and months. And you can see also it has ridden our wave here. This is our trend wave, and you can see it speaks for itself. It's been supportive the whole way, and even when it breaks through the wave, this blue line we call the epoch, it's just nailed it and then bounced right off of it. And the very first time, it's been three Fridays ago now, we had this huge sell-off in the market. And the very first time it broke this up channel and sustained that break, you can see here it wicked out of it on a couple occasions, but did not close the day below it. This one actually did, just barely peaked below it, but didn't confirm on the next day. You can see here we did close, but then look what happens here. And this is such a cool thing about the indicator when looking at the S&P in particular, is that we get trapped between our up channel and our epoch. The reason why I think this is really cool is this up channel is just a traditional technical analysis. It's using the channel tool here in Tradingview, available on all accounts, and drawing out this up channel. Everybody can see that. You see that for free. If you know how to use it, you can see it's effective. We bounce off of it a few times here. It just snakes around it a while, comes back, bounces off of it, and finally gets rejected. And then we add in our indicator. So we see how powerful our indicator is. Even when it breaks down, a lot of people would have shorted this once it broke down and then closed a couple of days below it. It looked as if for a while we were putting in this bear flag, so a drop and then a bear flag. But look what happens the entire way. Our epoch from the Foresight Suite keeps this thing from keeps us from believing that this is breaking down. Now, we could very well think that it's going to break down, but we know it's not yet. We know it's not until it actually starts to close below it, and we start to get a confluence of factors with the Foresight flow of time indicator that would give us a oblivion signal, as we call it, and it would print here on the screen. It would say oblivion, and we would know at that point the S&P was really breaking down. But we never got that. The epoch supported it the whole way, and people have really been caught off guard, and I'm sure a lot of shorts liquidated because you can see what's happened here over the last, are we in the daily? No, we're not. Over the last few days as we gapped up back into the channel. We closed into the channel, gapped up again. Look where it stopped today. Just right at the 50 line. Just pure technical analysis here. Just nails it and just stops right there. I'm not surprised by this. We're going into the FOMC meeting tomorrow and the next day. There's an expected 25 basis points rate cut. And that means free money for people to trade, for institutions anyway. And generally you see it pump up into that. Now, having said that, where it might go from here, very well could make its next stop at the top of the channel. If it breaks that, then it's really anybody's game. There's something going on in the market now that you normally see at the top of markets, which is where smaller cap stocks are going parabolic and then collapsing a few days later. Then that's happening, currently in the last month or so, month or two probably. You can see right here we got our long spell. And not that these things are perfect, but just here on the S&P, you see we get it here, we push up. We got our long spell here, we're pushing up. The indicators are powerful and simple. And the thing that I try to point out every night when we make these streams is that we built these for ourselves, and then we realized how good of a product it was and decided to start to offer it to people. Our goal was to remove the problems that face retail traders, including ourselves. We focused on those. And then beyond those, the very poignant things here are that we make the user interface as simple as possible so it looks clean. You'll notice there's not a lot of stuff on screen. As a matter of fact, we normally just look at these things as clean as possible. And you can see here we just have this signal. We follow it. That's not to oversimplify what's happening, because under the hood here, there's a robust engine. There's incredible logic in the back end that's running that gives us these signals. So it's not just a simple thing or two that we're watching. Let's move on to Bitcoin. We're checking out Bitcoin on the daily. And one of the things I wanted to point out here, and I see a couple of things immediately on the daily. We got a premonition right here. Now we're waiting for our short spell. We got the short spell here, and then this massive dump. Now on the daily, depending on when you got into this, most people would do it at candle close, so wouldn't do it until here. And you can see most of this dump is done, but it's not all done. You can see we came way on down to here. Just estimating here, another 7 or 8%. Now, the interesting thing about what's happening now is we got this long signal. You can see we've longed, we've taken our profit, but look where we're hitting. So 1, 2, 3 days in a row now, we've failed to close above this epoch on a hike and a she. Haven't not looked at this on regular candles, but assuming now that I am, assuming this guy closes down here tomorrow, we've got a bit of a topping tail there, just in regular candle analysis. But it's really cool how we're getting this topping tail on the epoch. So we're going to watch that. We're going to see what happens there, see if there's a good short opportunity. Now, if we drop down, we're going to go back to hike and a she candles. We notice we're at the epoch. We're going to drop down to the 4 hour. And now look what's happened on the 4 hour. Remember, we're into the epoch on the daily. We've got a premonition and now a short spell, and these white candles are called omens. So we have confluence, multiple layers of confluence there, and that's a shorting signal. So some people that are using this currently are probably short Bitcoin here. Now we're in a bit of a predicament here, you see, because we have the epoch on the 4-hour coming down, and the wave of eons coming up, which is our trend. These things are colliding. If the epoch gets under the trend, that's long signal. And now we're shorting into this thing that may potentially be long. So this area right here is the battle. If, depending on what type of profit someone's looking for, once they get this short signal, and by the way, our signals are built to be able to scan entire watch lists and send signals in real time off the watch lists, which isn't possible with Tradingview as of today. As of today, you can scan watch lists and scan intra-bar, but your alerts must be per signal. You can't just scan the entire watch list. You actually have to break them up into signals. And we've coded our way around that, which is a really cool feature of what we're doing. So some people are short here, and depending on what type of profit they're looking for, we're normally looking for 2%. And this is a tough one. So here, I don't know that there's necessarily an open trade on this, but from here we may just want to close up 1%, because depending on where we got in and the fact that we're coming into this epoch, you may choose to close that early. You have some really good signals here, and as you can see, it's pushing down. We get the signals we want, it's pushing down. It's pretty typical. Same here. Look, we get the premonition, we get the spell, we get the dump, that's profit. Same here, we get the dump, that's profit. And now we could talk about bigger profits. Generally speaking, you want to have, and this is just the way we do it, certainly not advice, just education, but you could have a target profit and then a trailing stop, or trailing take profit on it, and get these huge dumps, these huge runs, get percentages of profit off those as well. Still the entries given by the Foresight Suite of indicators. Let's jump over to gold. And yeah, so this is physical gold we're looking at here. And this is a really, really good learning lesson, because on its face, if you were to see all of this upwards price action on any symbol and see all these premonitions, you would say, well, those don't work very well. Well, these normally work really well, except for these explosive moves. But that's not why we're watching them necessarily. Remember, we want to see a premonition and wait for a short spell. So we see a premonition, but no spell. Premonition, finally get a spell. And I think that we're normally looking for these within about 7 bars. I think this gets it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we get it. And you can see this one in particular here got stopped out. So that's just, that signal was false. Not a problem for us. We think we're hitting these things at about 70%, 75% or so. Maybe even higher. I think the 70% is just the premonitions only, not counting the short spells. So you can see right here at the top, we get our premonition. On the same bar, we get the short spell. On the same bar, we get the omen. And now look what's happened with gold. Gold is breaking down. I don't think I have to belabor the point here. You can see the power of these signals put together. All right, lastly, we're going to take a look at J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan, one of the sinister banks here. teasing. You can see here with JP Morgan, it's been, let's get out on the daily, it's been on this massive like run up from Liberation Day, just like everything else. Look all the way back here, we get a premonition and a short spell. We get the pull back into the wave. Beautiful. You can long off that wave if you want. No premonition here. We do get a short spell here, but again, this mystic will change just a little bit with the update. So with the new one, I'm not quite sure if that spell would be there or not. Regardless, depending on when you took it, it's possible you got a profit there. Maybe you get stopped. But we see here, this is at the very, very top of JP Morgan on the daily. We get a premonition, we get a short spell, and now we came down almost 8%. This will be the final little learning point for tonight, and this is really how our indicator suite works so well together. There's something happening here that we ask people to pay attention to is when the epoch. Let me turn off these other things so we can just really focus on what's happening here with price action and the flow of time indicator. So the epoch's the blue line, the wave of Eon is the purple wave. And in a bull run, do you see what happens here? The epoch goes under the wave, and we are on a run at that point. Sorry about that, guys. We are on a run at that point, and you see we get supported here. You know, you hold support long enough, it convinces itself that's support, and it's not going to break, so it pops off. We retest it, pops off again, and now we've broken it here. And this is so typical, and such a cool thing about the indicator is generally speaking, when the epoch crosses the wave, it's signaling a downturn on this particular symbol. But what happens is, just like with every other sort of breakdown or breakout in other types of technical analysis, what you see here is this breakdown, and it wants to retest this wave to make sure it's sturdy. So that's what we're seeing right now with JP Morgan. We've had the crossover, and now it's testing it. And so we'll watch this for, a couple of days to see if it holds. And once it holds, it's like a confirmation that it's not going to break. That's a short opportunity, strictly based off the flow of time. Now, if we were to add in now Foresight, and just imagine we're getting resistance here, and then imagine that we were to get a premonition here. Let me put this back in. A premonition there. And then we're watching the flow of time, and it rolls over, then that's probably a really good signal. JP Morgan's coming down. Now the FOMC meeting is over the next couple of days, so we'll see how that makes things go. And you can see here, this wave turns over sometimes, and it's like down in here, and we don't have spells firing. That's for very specific reasons. We have an omen and a long spell here. You see we're getting the pump off of it, but it's already been this huge candle. So in the Discord, we would put this in something the channel where we talk about not following certain things. And if you miss a big move, don't take the signal after the big move. What you want is something like this, where we've had the premonition, we get the short spell, and see we haven't had the big dump out yet. So we catch the dump out. Here, it came so fast off the signal that the long part of this could already be missed. So we wouldn't take that at this point. Now, what we want to look for is to see, like I said before, we've seen that this is turning bearish by our epoch crossing over the wave of Eon. And we want to see if we get a premonition here, and if so, then we can watch for maybe a manual turn like this. And that would be more than enough, because then we have multiple factors of confluence with the Foresight indicators saying that it would be going down. Very well may not happen like that, but that's what we're watching. This is another way that you can use the indicators. And normally I like to really show off some of the things that we can see here with this combination of premonition and spells, because it's incredibly powerful. It's incredibly simple. If you're interested, check out the tutorials on the channel. Go to ForesightScrolls.com. There's a little mythology that goes along with the scrolls, which is just some fun that we like to have with the serious nature of trading. And if you have any questions, you can email us there. You can go on the Discord. Discord's free. The channels there are, the signal channels there are not free. They're part of the indicator package. But if you have any questions, reach out. And if you ever want us to take a look at a particular symbol, just drop it in the chat if you happen to be watching. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.